Alright guys, we are here with this week's What Sold video. For once, Poshmark did outdo eBay on my sales. Usually I always make more money on eBay, but Poshmark was really good this week. So I'm going to share with you in this video all of my sales that I had this week across all of the platforms, show you brands, tags, styles that are currently selling for, and what they're selling for. This should help you when you're out at the thrift store to know what to pick up, what stuff is selling for, whether you want to leave it behind or grab it for your business. If you haven't yet subscribed and you are a reseller, please consider subscribing. I do 4 videos a week to help you to make more money in your business. And let's get right into this. So one personal sale, I sold a Fear of God, that Essentials Fear of God New with Tags hoodie for $50 to my friend Eunice. Are you watching this? And if you are, tell me if I just said your name right, because I've seen you plenty of times, but I've never called you by your name. And so I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. It's either that or Eunice, but I feel like it's Eunice. I feel like that'd be the right way to say it. Either way, she's my thrifting friend. I kind of just met through social media and like we see each other. And yeah, so she bought it from me, which is great, but I still haven't got it to her yet. We've got to meet up. So $50 sale on that. That was great. If you guys ever see anything that you like on my Instagram stories, or anything, just go ahead and message me. Oops, I forgot to keep myself up, and where am I? Are you guys enjoying this? Me talking, here I am. I have to push something on this. It is view, here we go. Float on top, there I am. Okay, let's start with Depop. I had 3 sales on Depop. I sold this Vince men's top. This was a shirt that sold for $24. It was navy blue, long sleeve linen, just a button-up top in a size large. Nothing special, but a good, quick little sale. I sold this Puro linen top. This I only sold for $15 because once I went to list it, I realized that there was some discoloration spots, like a little bleach spot here. And so I did list it cheaper. They offered me cheaper than I wanted, but I literally didn't care, so I took $15. And then my last sale on Depop was yesterday, and I am trying to start experimenting with boosting items. And you can see that, actually, I think I boosted everything, which I think is kind of like, actually, wait, here we go. So I think it's kind of like how you can promote listings on eBay. I'm not like super great on Depop, so anyway, it was this pair of O'Neill shorts that sold for $25. These are very like 90s. They're brown, low rise, got the lace up. They're like the surfing style shorts. They sold super fast, and you can see they got 850 views. So I guess it says 52% more because of boosting and 69 clicks, 5% more from boosting. So I'm just going to keep the boosted on in my Depop store, and I guess we'll see if it keeps being productive. Only one Mercari sale this week, and it was this Calvin Klein dress sold for $32. This was in a size 14. It was a black and blue color block sheath dress. I did want to experiment with this as people told me that this style can do well for them in Calvin Klein. And you were right. So whoever it was that said that, thank you. I definitely need to look into this more when I'm out at the thrift stores. Let's do eBay. All right, so this is June 6th through the 12th. These are a pair of Brooks men's shoes. These sold extremely quickly for $31.49. They were in a size 10.5. They were the Ghost 15. A little bit of wear, but not bad. And Brooks have been my best-selling running shoe lately. And yeah, so that was great. Next up, I sold these Spanx jeans for $35 with a coupon. I already sold these once. They were in a size extra small, but they were a pull-on flare, so that's why I decided to get them. They got returned for fit, and I sold them again for, I think, the same price, so that's great. I sold these Aloe yoga leggings for $19.44. These ones are in a size extra small. I've had these since Christmas. I can tell because of my red nails. I never paint my nails, except for special occasions, and that was Disney, which is a special occasion in my eyes. Next up was a pair of vintage Levi's that sold for $39.99 with a coupon. They were a pair of 505 jeans men's. They had this orange tab, which is also a little bit more desirable. Here's what the vintage tag looks like. I'm trying to do better about learning about vintage Levi's and selling them because I know that there's some money in them. So I was excited about this. And yeah, that was a great sale. I sold this Lucky Brand dress for $22. This is a brand I hardly ever pick up, but I got this based on style, very Renaissance to me, or prairie. Tassel little mini floral with a velvet trim. So I was really happy with that since it's not a brand I normally pick up. This is an LaFleur top that sold for $32.40 with a coupon. This is in a size medium. This is a good career office workwear brand. I actually just found a new with tags dress from the brand the other day at Goodwill for $15. That is coming up in an upcoming haul, so make sure you guys are watching. I have videos now that come out 3 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll have a lot of stuff for you guys to watch this weekend. This is a logo Lori Goldstein top that sold for $20. Starting to just experiment with this brand and seeing what's selling. I sold it a little bit before, and then it wasn't doing great, but I think I need to be a little bit more picky. So this is a floral short sleeve top in a size 2X. It also was a modal cotton blend. So I am happy with $20 for that. These are some men's shorts called POC, maybe, P-O-C. I looked them up and it found out that they are like biking or cycling shorts. And it is a good season for that. They were new with tags and they sold for $35. Next up is this Gal Meets Glam jumpsuit. I already sold this. Got it returned for fit, sold it again. This is in a size 8 petite. I don't do amazing with jumpsuits, but certain brands I will still pick them up if they are cheap enough. That sold for $26.10. Next up was this Allie Miles top that sold for $30 with a coupon. I always run a 15% off coupon in my store. I do experiment with how much I want to run it. I've done 20, I've done 10, and I feel like 15 is a good like middle ground for me. So anyway, this was in a size petite, extra large, green, big artsy buttons, nice quick sale. This is a Vineyard Vines top that sold for $24.99 with a coupon. I grabbed this because it was a linen blend, and linen is selling really well right now, and Vineyard Vines is more of a summer brand. So I was excited to sell that, especially just being an extra small. Next up was a Miracle suit that sold for $49.99 with a coupon. This was a black one piece. It was in a size 8, so not quite a big size. It did still have the sanitary lining, which made me think it was unworn. I mean, it had to have been. You couldn't swim with that on. So that was a great sale. I sold this vintage Y2K skirt for $24. So really happy that my gut has been correct with a lot of these Y2K styles. So long maxi full pink skirt from the brand Raphael. I would not recommend. I would not memorize the brand. I did use keywords like floral, peasant, cottage, fairy, and romantic. This is an amazing sale, a vintage Faded Glory coat. This sold for $49.99 with a coupon. So Faded Glory, as we know, is Walmart, but this is old Walmart, and old Walmart can be good. I actually got this for free at the Heartland Christian garage sale that I ran. I ran a garage sale for a fundraiser recently, and instead of paying myself, I just told the director of the school I would just go through the items and take some stuff out that I wanted to sell. And he said that was fine, so this was one of the items that I grabbed. So free to me, and flipped it for $49.99 with a coupon. That is amazing. Next up was this J. Crew dress that sold for $31.50. This was a new with tags watermelon print dress in a size 6. This was so cute, very summery. Happy with that sale. Next up was a North Face coat or jacket that sold for $47 with a coupon. This was kind of like a puffer jacket style, and it was a men's size small. So happy with that. I sold these Allen Edmonds shoes for $28.20. This one had a 20% off discount. So this day, sales were a little slow for me on eBay. So I ended up sending out a 1-day coupon for 20% off to my previous buyers from the last 3 months. So it did produce a couple of sales. So I'm happy with that. That is a tactic that you can use. These were in a size 9.5. They were the Barbados leather woven shoes. Really cool style. But again, you can see I've had these for a long time, since December. Let's see. We have somebody adding something to a bundle. Okay, no offer. So this is another one that sold with a 20% off coupon. I think it only produced 2 sales, but I guess that's better than none. New Balance shoes sold for $27 with a 20% off coupon. These are the Minimus shoes, which do tend to sell pretty decent for me. They are usually like a lightweight running shoe, and they were in a women's size 11. Next up, I sold this. Oh wait, there is still more. Here's a 20% one. Anthropologie Hutch skirt sold for $12. I've had this for a while. It had this like ring little clasp. It was a butterfly print I wrote. Is that butterflies? Yeah, I think so. So I don't know. Anyway, not great. That was on my markdown sale. Okay, there is a few more here at the 20%. So never mind. Never mind that it only produced 2. Okay, Vionic shoes, size 7, sold for $49.99 with 20% off. This was also from the Heartland garage sale, so free to me. These were in like new condition, and Vionic does pretty well for me still in a lot of their styles. I sold this Eileen Fisher shirt for $34.99 with a 20% off coupon. This was in a size 2X. I got this at a 50% off Thrift World sale recently. I don't remember what it was, maybe Memorial Day. So that was great. Next up was a Ted Baker swimsuit that sold for $20. This was a red one-piece swimsuit. Again, have had this since Christmas. Glad to move it. Next up was this Free People tank top that sold for $44.99, which is crazy for a tank top. It was new with tags, but this thing retailed for $128, and it was that mesh, really like sparkly, blingy tank top, so I thought that was a super cool piece. I sold this Quacker Factory top for $24.99 with a 20% off coupon. This is very summery. It was new with the beads, so I mean, never worn. Also, it was in a size 3X, so I do look for it in seasonal type stuff. In plus size, being new also obviously helps. Next up are these Judy Blue shorts that sold for $17.82. I have had these for a while, I think since last summer, so I'm glad to see them move. They were in a size 1X, a pair of tie-dye shorts. I sold this Fig and Flower top for $22.50. This sold it pretty quickly. It wasn't a size 3X. It had orange embroidered sleeves, so I've sold this now in a dress and a top, and they both sold quickly. Next up were a pair of Keen men's sandals that sold for $20.30. These were in a small men's size 8. I think if maybe they were in a more common men's size, maybe they could have done a little bit better, but I'm okay with that. This is the brand Parsley and Sage. This was a jacket in a size 1X, sold for $31.49, beaded, kind of more of an artsy type brand, plus it was silk. I sold these Sundance pants for $12. I have had these for a while. Floral embroidered, straight leg cargo pants. I don't know, they just didn't do that well. Next up was this Packed sweatshirt, sold for $30 with a coupon. This was a blue trimmed striped heart print sweatshirt, so really cute. I like selling this brand Packed. It is continuing to do well for me. Next up is a Ming Wang cardigan that sold for $32. This was a teal and black stripe size large cardigan. The weird thing about this sale is that it was listed for $32 and they offered me $32. So I don't know, John Roth, what you're doing, but thank you for that great offer. Next up is a Miracle Suit, another one. This one sold for $29.99 with a coupon. So definitely be on the lookout for Miracle Suit. It did not have the Miracle Suit tag, but I can tell since I've sold it so much, this is the style tag, the size tag of Miracle Suit, and I found it next to another one. So that was a great sale. Another Ming Wang sale. This one was in a size small, which I don't normally get, but this was new with tags. Sold it for $45. Gray with like a red and black kind of detail, so I will get this brand if it's new. Next, a vintage cachet top. This is a style-based pickup. $24.50 with a coupon, but this brand did used to be expensive. This is a really fitted stretch, longer length, short sleeve top. So this is a style that's selling right now. Next up are these pair of Dansko shoes. These sold for $39.60, which is great for Dansko. This exact style had really good sold comps. It was the Larissa Milled is the style. These ones were like a navy blue leather slip-on loafers. Next up are these Fit Flop sandals. These sold for $24.99 with a coupon, and I just found these in black. So I picked those up because these ones sold really fast. They were in a size 9. Another Allie Miles top. This one sold for $29.99 with a coupon. Bright green, printed in an extra large. This brand is a great bread and butter brand for me right now. Another one of these, if you guys saw, I recently picked up one of these June and V tops. New with tags 3X. I found the exact same one. I picked it up again. This time I only sold it for $23. So a little bit less than last time, but I still made a decent profit. I sold this J. Jill top for $24.99 with a coupon. This was in a size medium. I got it because it was their linen line, and linen is selling really well right now. Another Allie Miles. This one is in a size petite extra large, so all of these have been extra large. $29.99 with a coupon, black and white with the red interesting buttons. So thank you, Allie Miles. And then I sold this J. McLaughlin top for only $10 because it had some stains on it. Multiple little stains, and I could not get them out. It was their Catalina cloth, so I made like $2 in that, I think. Next are a pair of Spanx pants that sold for $40 with a coupon. These were in a size large. They were the split hem front pants, and they sold really quickly. I wasn't sure about this style because it wasn't like a wide leg or a flare, but I guess it was popular because they sold fast. And that's it for eBay. Let's go on to Poshmark. Let me know down below in the comments, how have your sales been this week? And comment down below Poshmark or eBay. And let me know which one is you made more money on this week. So let's get going. We have a bundle for $80. This was a bundle of 3 items: a J. McLaughlin women's dress, a J. McLaughlin shirt, and a Bowden dress. So that was a really great sale. They bought this outright, so I do think I have a 10 or 15% off 2 or more items for bundles in my closet, so they just went ahead and did that, which is great. Next is the brand DS. No clue what this is. I got it because it was linen and it was new with tags. I had a white one that was linen that I sold as well. So sometimes during the season with certain fabrics, you can get away with selling brands that you don't really know about just because of the fabric, and this is one of them. Next, I have a pair of Goldie shorts that sold for $25. These were the Parker shorts. I found a few pairs of these recently. The short ones do not do as well anymore. $25 to $35 is what I'm getting for them. They're a button fly. I'll still pick them up during the summer because people still really like them. But the longer length ones are the ones that are doing really well. And when you look up the style, it will say Parker long. That's the ones you could list for really good money. This is an outer known jacket that sold extremely quickly. This was actually a men's, but I sold it as women's because I think it could be unisex. It was the blanket shirt shacket. So outer known is a like surf type brand. It was created by, I think, Kelly Slater, who's a surfer, and it usually does pretty well for me. So I would be on the lookout for this. Ellie? I thought I heard her drinking the cat's water. Next up is an Eileen Fisher sweater. I have had this for a while. It got marked down. It was at $19. This one wasn't a size small, so that makes it a little bit less desirable, and it was organic linen blend, but I think because of the small size, it just didn't do great. Also, this isn't very like a summery color. The blacks and the dark colors are going to do better in the fall and winter. These Tory Burch sandals sold for my full asking price of $85, which is great. I think I paid $30 for these at A Style Encore, and my profit was $68, so I made $38. I am very happy with that. These ones were in a size 7. They were the Claire T-strap sandals. And yeah, amazing sale. I still love selling Tory Burch. Another pair of sandals. These were called Very G. These are from the Buckle. I got them because of the cow print, so I felt like this was just very on trend for summer, for rodeos and festivals and stuff like that. They were new, never worn. And yeah, $26. I am happy with that. They only retailed for like, what does it say, 40? So I'm good with that. Next up was a Quince blazer. This sold for $30. This person actually started off their offer, I think I had it listed for 40. I think they sent me 19 or 20. And I was like, nope. And I countered offered 30. They tried to do 25. I countered offered 30. They accepted it. So I usually will decline 50% or under. This person realized, that obviously was not a good offer. I was not even going to consider it. And they came back right away. So, I mean, if they're serious and they want it, they'll come back. I don't think you need to like worry about declining, but I guess that's up to you what you want to do. Next up are these Dansko shoes that sold for $24. I got these for $1 at a garage sale recently. I'm so sad I didn't go to garage sales yesterday. And then the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be gone on my vacation, so I'm going to be out on garage sales for a bit. But yesterday, I just really needed to get some stuff done. Today, tomorrow, and Monday, I'm working at the College World Series. I'm just making some extra money. We got it with a fundraising opportunity for my volleyball team that I coach. So if you're coming to the College World Series, look for me. I'm going to be at the snow cone stand. But I needed to get a lot of listings done and some videos scheduled and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to take the time just to go garage sailing with my sister. So I won't be able to for like a month, which is really sad. Anyway, these were a size 37. They were closed toe, like clogs. Very cute, very on trend. Quick sale. Next up is this backpack, which is really sad. I sold it for $25. So I had a viewer tell me, and then actually once I did more, I should have done more research at the store. Once I did more research at home, I realized this was fake. This is a fake Coach backpack. So what I did was I took Coach out of the title, I took Coach off the brand, I took Coach out of the description, and I sold it just as a backpack. And someone still bought it for $25 because some people don't care about selling fakes, and I'm not going to get in trouble because I didn't list it as Coach. I really wish it was because I had it listed for $100 at first. So everybody makes mistakes, guys, and I make them every day of my life. This is a great bundle. This sold for $230, which is kind of nuts. This is my biggest bundle sale I've had for a while. Definitely part of the reason that Poshmark did so well for me. So it was a vintage All That Jazz linen dress, an Eileen Fisher top, an Eileen Fisher pair of silk pants, a vintage size large cotton boho skirt, an Eileen Fisher size medium jacket, an Eileen Fisher size medium linen cardigan, a New With Tags Chico's silk tank top, a J. Jill linen pink and white top, and an Eileen Fisher medium silk top. So really amazing. Also, actually, this Eileen Fisher shirt wasn't there. She substituted it for another vintage dress. So thank you. I think her name is Krista, for being very understanding and willing to work with me. That was an amazing sale, and I'm very happy with that. Next up are a pair of Keen shoes. These sold for $25. Again, another small size, men's 7.5, but they still will sell. Keen hiking stuff is doing so good right now. I sold this Vineyard Vines top for $25. This I got at a garage sale. This was in a size 6. Blue and white striped tie front top, very preppy, very Vineyard Vines. Here's those Rag & Bone Miramar shorts. So I didn't make a ton of money from them since I got them from a consignment store, but they sold extremely quickly, so I knew they would. These ones were in a size medium, and they sold for $50. So be on the lookout for these Rag & Bone shorts or pants. They're going to feel like soft pajama pants, but they look like jeans. They're called the Miramar. And why didn't I have that in my title? I don't know. I'm dumb again. Either way, I still sold them really fast. Wow. How many things could I possibly mess up? This is a Chico's kimono. This sold for $24. And it was in a size 2, which is like a size 10 or a size medium. So I'm really happy with this sale because I'm just experimenting with Chico's and I'm figuring out what sells. And it turns out a lot of stuff actually sells from them. I don't know why I was leaving it behind for so long. A bundle of 2 Viore tops for $48. I found both of these at that Thrift World 50% off sale. I got the orange one and the white one. I don't really need to show you those. Viore is still doing very well for me. Next up are a pair of Miss Me shorts that sold for $20. These were in a size 28. I think these might have been cut off from jeans, but I don't know for sure. I mean, they kind of look like it. Oh, wait, no, they're not. It says Bermuda, so that means they were meant to be shorts. But I feel like that looks cut. Like, did somebody cut them shorter than, like, because that doesn't look like a Bermuda length. Either way, $20 on those. Abercrombie & Fitch jeans sold for $30. These were in a size 8 or a size 29, and they were the Dad jean, the Dad high-rise jean, Curve Love. So Curve Love and the Dad style jean are selling pretty good for me. I've left behind almost every other style, like the 90s straight, the 90s ultra high-rise, the mom jean. Those aren't doing good for me. This is a Lane Bryant swimsuit that sold for $35. I don't hardly ever pick up Lane Bryant, but this was a color block, black and white swimsuit. It wasn't a size 28, and it was new with tags. So that's why I decided to grab that, so I'm glad that that sold. Next up was a Zimmerman dress that sold for $50. This was over by the wedding dress section at one of my local Goodwills. I got it on sale for half off for $10. It wasn't a size 6, and it was a navy blue silk dress. I'm really happy this sold fast because the last time I had Zimmerman, it sat forever, and it did not sell for much money. Abercrombie & Fitch shorts. These were in a size 18, so a larger size, and they were the high-rise Dad shorts. So again, I like to pick up the style for shorts and jeans. These ones sold for $21. Next up are these Dansko shoes that only sold for $13. I don't know why, because usually my Dansko sandals sell more than that. These had to have gone through a few markdown sales that they're down to this. So I'm okay with that because if they've been around that long, somebody just needs to take them. Next up is the brand Unique vintage dress. This sold for $20. Kind of like a, I don't know. I was going to say a vintage style, but obviously that makes sense. Polka dot, fit and flare, like kind of like Lindy Bop style. But anyway, it was cute. $20 in that. J. McLaughlin dress sold for $25, so quite a few J. McLaughlin pieces selling this week. This one wasn't a size large. It was navy blue and white striped with this gathered knot on the waist. This sold probably in less than a week. Next up is a Vince jacket, so 2 men's Vince items this week. This one wasn't a size extra large. It was a navy blue, like solid jersey track jacket. So that was a pretty good sale. I mean, actually, it wasn't great, but it was decent. Lily Pulitzer shorts sold for $27. It is Lily Pulitzer season. Size 2, these were the buttercup shorts. Even the smaller sizes do well in Lily, so excited about that sale. Next up was an icebreaker jacket. This has already been sold before as well. Got returned for fit. Sold again for $25. Icebreaker, it kind of reminds me of Smartwool and brands like that. It is an outdoor brand, usually a base layer type brand. I mean, it can be sometimes. It's not always a base layer. So anyway, that's a brand I'd like to pick up. Wow, I had to cancel a few sales there. So, I'm failing at life. Another bundle, Ultra women's shoes and a Suzanne Betro top. They sold together on an offer for $70. I was really happy with that. Next up is the brand REI Co-op. These are a pair of pants that sold for $18. These were in a size 10 petite. Green hiking outdoor pants. REI Co-op tends to be newer type stuff. Maybe since these were petite, that was a reason they didn't do as well. This is a vintage Banana Republic top. This sold for $20, which I'm happy with since this was a style-based pickup. Floral with this little lacy detail on the chest. It was really cute. Very cottage and prairie to me. Older Banana Republic. Plus, it was 100% silk, so that did make it more valuable. Next up was an Eileen Fisher sweater that sold for $11. I've had this for quite a while. This one is in a size medium. It was a black and gray wool open cardigan sweater. But, yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. A Lululemon bodysuit that sold for $45. I'm happy with this. I think I paid $8 for this at a local Goodwill a few weeks ago. This was a size 14, and it was the Align bodysuit. So I wasn't sure if bodysuits were still in. I mean, I would never wear this. You would not catch me wearing that. But somebody else will. And it sold really good. So be on the lookout for Lululemon bodysuits. This was a bundle for $34 of 2 items. It was an Ann Taylor shirt. I got this because it was like a boxy white oversized shirt and it was new with tags. And then a Vineyard Vines size large, like polo sleeveless tank top. So happy with that. I sold this Bowden dress for $22. This had a sailboat print on it. So that's kind of why I decided to grab it. Just being more of a summer print because this is their older tag, which doesn't tend to do as well for me. Next up was this Anthropologie like tube top, sleeveless top, sold for $19. It was the sub-brand Maeve. And yeah, larger sizes in Anthropologie can usually do well. This was also new with tags, but I don't know. Maybe that style isn't super popular. Another Miracle suit. So that's 3 for the week. Be on the lookout for Miracle suits. This one sold for $30. This was a blue swirl one-piece swimsuit in a size 14. My favorite swimsuit brand to sell. Next up was this Harley Davidson sweatshirt that sold for $15. I got this for $1 at a yard sale. Just gray with like this chain kind of detail. Harley, I feel like does better in the summer. Next up was a Los Angeles Chargers jersey. This is something I never sell. I thought my brother wanted it, but he didn't want this one, so I just sold it because obviously that's why he didn't want it. It's not worth that much. I sold it for $11, so I'm glad to move it because I'm like, I don't want this in my closet. I sold this Hot Topic Harry Potter jacket for $26. This was a collaboration, and some of the Hot Topic collaborations can do pretty well. It was a green, like high-low jacket with like this corset detail on the back. Next up were a pair of men's No Bull shoes that sold for $30. I picked these up recently at a Goodwill. These sold extremely quickly. Bright pink, kind of like a knit look. No Bull is still selling well for me. I sold this Polo Ralph Lauren hoodie for $20. This person was trying to offer me like $11 or $12. I wanted to get at least $20. Well, that was a weird sound from my Photos app. Okay, anyway. I thought this was a cool, like, vintagey looking sweatshirt. It did have a couple of stains that I couldn't get out, so I sold it for less. Next up was an Eileen Fisher shirt that sold for $30. This was in a size 1X. This sold extremely quickly. This was also from that Thrift World Memorial Day half off sale. Tencel, which is a good fabric some people look for. Next was a Free People skirt. This sold for $60. I got this for $10. It was new with tags, a size small, very flowy and chiffon type skirt. So I knew that would sell well, and it did. Next, a pair of redone jeans for $10. I am so done with this brand. I think this is my last pair. I got quite a few of them new with tags, and they did not do good. They sat forever, and they did not do well. So I don't know what your experience is, but mine is not good. This is definitely a BOLO item. This is the brand Raffaello Rossi. I don't know if everything from this brand sells well, but this exact style, these are called the candy pants. They have really, really good comps, and these sold for $75, which was my full asking price. Here's what the tag looks like. And then on the actual other tag, it's going to say candy. So be on the lookout for these. They sell so well. And then my last sale was this Lafayette 148 top. This sold for $15. This wasn't a size medium. It was blue, silk, lightweight. It did have a couple of little like oil stains that I couldn't get out. So I still make money off stained items. So guys, that's it. Let's talk about our numbers. That's 2 weeks in a row, guys, that I remembered. So I'm so proud of myself. This is profit, pure profit. People always ask me, so I'm just going to say it every time. I've taken out my fees and I've taken out my cost of goods. So this is how much money that I'm actually making. So a personal sales, $43.37. Mercari made $22.30. Depop, $38.06. eBay, I made $627.03. Poshmark, $853.61. That's a total profit for the week, $1,584.34. Profit per day, $226.34. Very happy with that. A little bit lower than like my big crazy goal that I had at the beginning of the year, but anything over $200 a day profit is very good in my book. So again, let me know down below, Poshmark or eBay, where did you have more sales? I've got some good hauls and some thrift with me videos coming out for you guys this weekend. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Bye.